Welcome back to The Daily Dish, a copycat.com podcast where I help you recreate your favorite dishes right in your own kitchen. I'm Stephanie Manley, and I've been recreating your favorite recipes since 1995. I've got to start by sending a huge thank you to all of you who've been cooking along with us. Every time I see one of your copycat creations pop up on Instagram or Facebook, it absolutely makes my day. You all are the reason I keep recreating these restaurant recipes. And hey, for those of you who are listening while commuting or folding the laundry, don't worry about memorizing the ingredients. The complete Panda Express Chow Mein recipe is already waiting for you at copycat.com with the measurements, photos, detailed instructions, and a video that you may need to cook this. Just click on the link in the show notes and you'll have everything at your fingertips. Trust me, this is one takeout favorite that's about to become a regular in your kitchen rotation. Now today, we are making one of the most requested recipes from the Panda Express, and that's their Panda Express Chow Mein. This is the perfect side dish that so many of us love to add to our orange chicken or Beijing beef order. Did you know that it's also one of the easiest and most economical takeout items to recreate at home? I first got serious about making this recipe when I realized I was spending nearly $4 for a small order every single time I visited the Panda Express. When I did the math, I figured I could make enough chow mein to feed my entire family for about the same price as one restaurant portion, and I knew I had to recreate this recipe. I hear from so many listeners who worry about special ingredients or special techniques. Let me put your mind at ease. This Panda Express Chow Mein recipe is one of the most straightforward Chinese dishes you can make. Think of it as a warm noodle salad with a savory sauce, and there's nothing complicated about that. Now let's talk about the ingredients that you will need. The beauty of this recipe is in its simplicity. For the noodles themselves, you'll want to use either lo mein or yakisoba noodles. Many of you have asked me about substituting regular spaghetti. I really recommend seeking out the right noodles for the dish, but you know what? Spaghetti will work in a pinch. No worries there. The noodles at the Panda Express do have a special texture and a bounce that regular pasta just can't quite replicate, and they're actually quite affordable in the Asian section of most grocery stores. If you have an Asian market nearby, even better, they cost less at an Asian market. For the vegetables, you will also need some Napa cabbage, though regular green cabbage works in a pinch, white onion, celery. These three vegetables create that signature Panda Express flavor profile. The vegetables are sliced thin so they can cook quickly and evenly. Now for the sauce. This is where the magic happens. You will need to combine soy sauce, a touch of sugar, cooking wine, dry sherry works wonderfully if that's all that you have, oyster sauce, and hoisin sauce. The last two ingredients may be new to some of you, but they're readily available in the international aisle of most grocery stores, and a little goes a long way. So one bottle will last you many meals. You will stir fry your vegetables until just tender and add your pre-cooked noodles and toss it with the sauce. The whole dish comes together in about 15 minutes once your prep work is done. Now speaking of prep work, here is a money-saving tip for busy weeknights. Chop all your vegetables on the weekend and store them in your refrigerator. You can even mix up the sauce ahead of time. Then, when a busy Wednesday night rolls around and you're tempted to hit the drive-thru, you will have everything ready to go for a meal that's faster and much more economical than takeout. Now let's talk about how versatile this recipe is. The basic Panda Express version is vegetarian, but you can easily add protein to make it a complete meal. Leftover rotisserie chicken, quickly sauteed shrimp, or thinly sliced beef all work beautifully. This is a great way to stretch a small amount of protein to feed your whole family. And for those of you with dietary restrictions, this recipe is easy to adapt. If you're gluten-free, look for gluten-free tamari instead of soy sauce. Check your labels on the oyster and hoisin sauce. There are gluten-free versions available. For a vegan version, look for vegetarian oyster sauce. That's typically made from mushrooms and provides that same umami flavor. Now, if you're watching sodium, you can reduce the amount of soy sauce, or you can add reduced sodium soy sauce and add a little bit more cooking wine and fresh ginger for a little punch of flavor. One question I frequently get about stir-fry recipes is about the equipment. While traditional Chinese cooking uses a wok, You absolutely don't need one for this recipe. Any large, heavy bottom skillet will work beautifully. The key is to make sure your pan is very hot before adding the ingredients. And do not overcrowd it. If you're doubling the recipe, consider cooking in batches to maintain that restaurant quality texture. Now let's talk about cost savings. I know it's important to many of you. It's very important to me. A side of chow mein at Panda Express costs around $4 to $5 these days. The homemade version costs approximately $1.25 per serving. That's being generous with the calculations. For a family of four, that's a savings of over $10, and that's just on one side dish. Make this a couple of times a month, and you're looking at some significant grocery budget relief. Now, beyond cost savings, there's also a freshness factor. When you bake chow mein at home, the vegetables retain their crispness and color in a way that's nearly impossible with takeout by the time you get it home. You don't want food that's been sitting in a steam table or traveling in a styrofoam container. The noodles will have that perfect texture at home. They won't be mushy, they won't be dry, they'll be just right. And here's a tip for all of you who like to meal prep. Chow mein reheats beautifully for lunch the next day. Unlike some leftovers that lose their peel, these noodles actually maintain their texture quite well. I like to make a double batch specifically to have leftovers for lunches throughout the week. Just store it in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 5 days. For the complete Panda Express experience at home, pair this chow mein with some of my other recipes. I have one for the orange chicken, a Beijing beef, sweet fire chicken, and you can find all these on copycat.com. Make a few dishes, set them out family style, and enjoy a takeout feast for a fraction of the restaurant price. And one final tip before we wrap up. The secret to restaurant quality Chinese food at home is high heat and quick cooking. Have all of your ingredients prepped and ready to go before you start cooking, because once you begin, the process moves very quickly. This approach not only gives you the best texture and flavor, it also preserves more of the nutrients in your vegetables. It's a win-win. Now remember, you can get the complete Panda Express chow mein recipe on copycat.com or by clicking the link in today's show notes. I'd love to hear about your own variations. What type of proteins will you add? Let me know what vegetables you've tried in your chow mein. Share your creations with me on social media. Just tag us at Copycat Recipes. And until then, this is Stephanie Manley from copycat.com, helping you bring the restaurant experience home. Why go out when you can make it at home?